Hi, this is Jessica Azrin. Today we're going to make African chickpea and sweet potato stew. I've doubled the recipe so I can make it all for my family of 4, and so if you're following along, just know that all the measurements are doubled. You can make it in a crock pot or an Instapot. I prefer the Instapot because it's a lot quicker, but either way works. So first I have these caramelized onions. I sauteed them in olive oil and 2 cloves of garlic, 1 clove of garlic if you're not doubling the recipe. And they're really good because when you caramelize onions, it actually brings out the sweetness. So if you want nice sweet onions, you're gonna caramelize them. And so that's when you saute them until they're nice and brown. It can take a little while, so if you want to do it more quickly, you can put the onions in, get them nice and hot, and while they're still white, you can throw a little bit of boiling water, just a splash of boiling water on them, and they will caramelize right up. It's a great trick. It's really quick. That's about it. Okay. Next, we have the star of the show, the sweet potatoes. You'll notice that mine are orange and white. That's because that's what the farmer's market had, but they're both sweet potatoes. Neither of them are regular potatoes. You're only gonna want sweet potatoes for this recipe. These are exactly the same as the orange ones. They're just a different color. Just gonna get those in there. Sweet potatoes. Next we have our chickpeas. These came in a can. I drained them and rinsed them. That gets rid of some of the sodium. So they're ready to put in. Chickpeas. Okay, next we have our chicken broth. It looks like a lot of chicken broth, and that's because it is. Normally you're gonna use 2 cups, but like I said, I doubled the recipe for my family, so it's 4 cups of chicken broth. A little bit messy, didn't pour that great. Okay. Next we have our fresh ginger. And I just got that out of one of those little tubs. I think it's minced. You could probably use any other kind of ginger too. Salt. Cumin. That's about half a teaspoon when you're not doubling it. And some regular black pepper. Okay. Next we have our tomatoes and our green chilies. So I didn't really have chilies around, so I like to use Rotel. It's a combination of tomatoes and the green chilies, and it's really good. Adds a little extra tomato, always good. Rotel. That works just fine. I use it pretty much every time I do this recipe. And then rest of my tomatoes. Then I stir it up. Make sure everything is good and mixed in there. This is such a good recipe. It's very filling. All of the ingredients are really nice and healthy, and it's just a lot of good protein and vegetables. I really love it. And it tastes awesome. Almost done with that. Just want to make sure it's good and mixed. All right. Here, want to show that? Nice. All right, once you're done stirring it up, then you can put together your Instapot or Crockpot. In the Instapot, you can put it on manual for 2 minutes, or in your Crockpot, you can cook it for 8 hours. And once you're done, by the magic of television, you have your stew. Now it's not quite ready yet. We have one more step left. So I've separated just a little bit of the broth from the stew into this bowl, and I'm going to add this peanut butter to it. So you take your peanut butter, scoop it in. I'm going to use the spoon actually. Getting as much of that as possible. Probably get one more scoop out of this. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And so I put it all in my separated out broth into a little bowl here, and I'm just gonna stir it up until you get a nice, thick, soupy kind of texture. Hard to stir because it's peanut butter. The recipe says whisk. I'm not sure if that's better or worse, but that is a possibility. The reason that you're doing this is because if you put it into the soup early, all of the stirring can mess up the vegetables and just kind of crush them up a little bit, and you just really want those nice vegetables in there, so you really want to stir this separately so that you can get it in there. It also kind of distributes more evenly than if you put it directly into the pot of stew that you've made. All right, that's about even. You notice that thick texture we've got there? And I'm just going to put that right into our stew. In fact, I might use my spatula to get a little more of that in there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now we can stir it all up. Trying to be kind of gentle with the vegetables. You see, it's a very different look than it was before I added the peanut butter. It's less of a tomato stew and more something kind of special and different. All right, now I'm going to serve myself some of this awesome stew. Put this off to the side. Here's my bowl. do one more. Oh, that looks good. All right, and once you're done with the actual stew, you can garnish it. So here I have some crushed peanuts. My clean hands, of course. I'm just gonna put that all over as a nice little garnish. You can do as much or as little as you like. It's just some fun extra texture and some nice healthy peanuts. And then for the lime actually gives it a different flavor than you have without the lime. You know, it's both are really, really good. Some people like one way or the other. I recommend trying both, but I like the lime. So I'm gonna add some lime to mine. And there you have it, African stew.